we're live on the WAN show with our special guest, JayzTwoCents.
I take special very serious.
Very special guest, the specialist guest, the greatest. You know what's actually kind of funny is it didn't occur to me until we were already live, but it is possible that we still have the lower third from... No, we do not. Somebody cleared out that folder. That would have been super cool if we still had like an ancient lower third from having you on as a guest like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
It was probably more like 3. Yeah, wow.
Probably more like 3. So let's do a quick rundown of some of the topics that we want to discuss today. Actually, I've got one that I'm not sure if is in the doc, but Jay, you and I both released videos discussing the X299 platform and sort of gave some thoughts on it. I'd love to kind of go head to head about it and kind of exchange some of those thoughts. I'm sure the audience would love for us to flesh things out a little bit. So I'm all about fleshing out, if you know what I mean. And see how much awkward silence I can get. I got a good 2 heartbeats there.
Yeah, that was solid.
And we've also got a lot of Apple news this week that I'm sure everyone is going to have an opinion on, because some of it looks amazing and some of it looks like it should be amazing, but actually, wait, is this seriously not in here in detail? Okay, that's fine. We can get to that later. So, without further ado, let's roll the intro and get right into this, because there's a lot to cover today.
Yep.
Boop.
I can hear it. Oh, right, we're on the same thing now.
Sponsors for the show: Savage Jerkey, Freshbooks, and Cable Mod. Okay, so why don't we jump right into the big highlight from the... I didn't put the guest up. There he is. Why don't we jump into the big highlight from Apple's event? Oh, and I just realized... we don't have Jay when I'm sharing my screen, so we're just going to have to do the screen shares really quickly. So this is from The Verge. The 8 biggest announcements from Apple WWDC 2017. Number 1, Apple announces the HomePod speaker to take on Amazon Echo and Sonos. So can I kick this off by saying, who here actually uses and or desires...
My grandpa. All the time. Same with my mom.
Okay, so tell me exactly what it is that people are using
I almost have no
home
idea.
speakers for.
I think part of the idea is that it can be louder than your phone automatically without having your volume settings already on. I think it's more responsive to voice from further away. I'm assuming those things are what it's for. I don't use it.
Jay, what do you got?
But yeah, my grandpa and my mom are both very
I was so unenthusiastically not following anything to do with Apple until I saw the Vega thing, which I'm sure you're going to talk about. But
I was going to get to the important stuff later.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could see my dad, who's fairly disabled, liking voice command stuff. But I mean, I can't bring myself to get an Alexa or a Google Home. So why would I want this?
I think part of the idea is if he's watching the TV or cooking food or something, and he just doesn't even want to pull his phone out, he can just talk to it and it's fine.
Wait, hold on a second. Apparently Jay is way out of sync.
He wasn't. He looks in sync here.
See, I bring the old Tech Talk mantra with me wherever I go.
Oh, it's slightly behind. Yeah.
Oh, people are like, yeah, he's way out of sync. 100 to 200 milliseconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's only so much you could do with video over IP, right?
Wow. Okay. You know what? I think we're just not going to care at all. So, okay. So basically, I'll say this. I have a Sonos speaker. Actually, I have a few Sonos speakers. And what I really like about them is that you can turn on 1 room or 2 rooms or a bunch of rooms. I do think Sonos speakers are overpriced. So for Apple to come in and say, okay, yeah, we're going to have a home speaker that is, sounds great and is also a competitor for Sonos, and also happens to have Siri for if you're wondering like how tall the average giraffe is or whatever.
Sure.
Then I guess there's some utility there, but I can't figure out who is actually using Apple HomeKit stuff, and I can't figure out what exactly it is that people other than me have figured out how to do with Siri that's actually useful.
That's one of my bigger questions. Is because I feel like it was actually better before. Have you had that experience? I feel like my voice activated stuff has gotten worse over time.
Almost every time I go to use Siri, like here, let's do a live demo. Hey Siri. Hey Siri. Can you set a reminder for me to pick up my kids at 10 p.m. tonight?
Okay, I'll remind you.
Okay, well, whatever. Managed to get it right after not hearing me the first time. But like so many times, it'll get the it'll have like the time in the reminder, and it'll be like, oh, well, when would you like to do that? I'm like, holy crap! You literally have 10 p.m. right there. I don't know how I could have been much more clear than that. And I've just been so frustrated with it lately that I just can't imagine myself buying a dedicated appliance just to be mad, and after 3 attempts, pull out my phone and just freaking type it in.
When I did my Sonos stuff last year, because I'm like you, I have quite a bit of Sonos stuff, and it really had one selling point for me, and that was the app-controlled volume and whatnot, because when you have toddlers and kids like me who like to crank the TV super loud, it was just convenient to be upstairs and be able to turn the TV down without having to yell, turn the TV down. Like that one feature alone for me was worth it. But in terms of like home assistants and home speakers and stuff like that, I don't use any of the other functionality built into the Sonos with the exception of just being able to switch it and maybe stream some music. Spotify,
I think
whatever.
To play a little bit of devil's advocate, I guess no one's really fighting for the other side, but I think for like the more normies out there, I guess.
Normies. Is that what we call them now?
I guess. I think this serves actually a better use case because it fits the like super classic, easy to understand dynamic of like the person chopping vegetables in their kitchen, who like randomly thinks of something and doesn't want to stop.
Like, hey, can you convert 3/4 of a cup to the metric system?
Yeah, and like apparently it actually does that pretty well. I know your phone didn't just pick you up.
I could see my wife doing that.
Yeah, and like I know your phone didn't just pick you up very well, but a dedicated appliance.
A $350 appliance for that. Of course, though, so again, back to, okay, so there's two discussions to have here. One is this thing really that useful? And the second one is, will normies flock out and buy it? So
I don't know about flock out and buy it.
Well,
but
hold on, I was about to make an argument there, because when I was over in Taiwan, I stayed at Dennis's parents' house for the first day, because our hotel wasn't available to check in yet anyway. And they actually had, like, so many dedicated appliances that my zero clutter lifestyle would not allow me to take for free, let alone go out and buy. So like
zero clutter lifestyle?
They have at home?
Yeah.
You haven't been to my house lately, have you?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I have kid stuff. Yeah, I have kid stuff. But like, okay, like my aunt, she has everything from, like she has a dedicated juicer just for lemons and limes. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
She's got a noodle maker. She's got she's got a salad spinner. Yeah. And I'm sitting here going, you know what? You know how you dry the salad? You kind of shake it over the sink and you put it in the bowl. It's done. You know,
that's like the spending too much time on QVC or the shopping network, right? You just like, oh, that looks useful, and you buy it, but then you really never use it.
So Dennis's parents own an in-home sauna. And remember, this is in Taiwan. Like, it's not a huge house.
In Taiwan, that's a little bit surprising. But if I remember correctly, in Finland, there's a sauna per person.
Okay.
Saunas are just not that popular in Canada.
And number two, they had this like riding thing that I posted on social media.
I saw that.
That was like an exercise device of some sort. And I'm sitting here going, you know, that is like the erotic bode flex. You know, it's like.
I think it was for core exercises, but man, did it look like
And this is what I want to know. Are people not learning? Everyone goes out and buys a rowing machine or a treadmill or an ice cream maker. Everybody does it, and they just keep doing it.
What's wrong with a rowing machine or a treadmill?
The fact that you use it 6 times
Well, what
and
if someone
never
does
touch it.
use it a
Yeah,
lot?
but those people are 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the point.
We have a chocolate fountain.
What?
Like those ones you'd see at like a party or a wedding. Yeah, don't ask me why, but
How many times have you guys used that?
We've never used it, but we've lent it out plenty of times.
So basically, if Jay's 2 cents doesn't end up working out for you, then you're gonna start up a like pointless bullshit white people appliances rental house.
Kitchen loans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is probably a business there. Like my parents bought the slicer machine, the like V-shaped blade, where you can like slice fries out of a potato in just like one thing. We had the Bamix, which by the way did pay for itself in homemade mayonnaise. You can make mayonnaise in like minutes with the Bamix. I'm not trying to sell you the Bamix.
Okay.
But we had that
I don't even
one.
know what that is, so.
I really didn't know there was that many people into homemade mayonnaise.
Yeah.
I don't think there are a lot of people into it so much as there are a few people that are really into it. So
Right, that makes sense.
anyway, my take on the HomePod is, okay, it's got 7 beamforming speakers and a 4-inch subwoofer, and apparently Apple is really excited about the sound quality. They're going after the Sonos Play 3 with extra functionality. If it does all this stuff really well, then great. But one of the things I love so much about Sonos is that whether I'm using an iPhone or an Android device this week, I can use it regardless. So I have to see how
but
Apple...
again, that's not a use case for like almost anybody.
Well, okay, I can go over to my parents' house, and regardless of what kind of phone I'm using, I can tap into Sonos and play some music, which is pretty cool.
Well, how about the fact that the Sonos is also its own music server too? You can just offload your favorites and create playlists on the Sonos on your own network, regardless of what devices are hooked up to it.
Isn't it just speakers?
Sonos?
Yeah.
No, it's
Like,
pretty cool.
can it answer how tall is an average giraffe?
No, it can't do that.
So then it's not really the same thing, though.
But the logic being that if I'm gonna buy a iPod or whatever, the HomePod, if I'm gonna buy a HomePod, I probably already have one of these in my pocket.
Now, I get a lot of Sonos mail because I've signed up for their stuff. It's like one of the few newsletters I actually pay attention to. And there was some early talk, like late last year, early this year, about there being an assistant in development. So I don't know
I feel
if
like
it's going
a
to be a
new
good...
assistant from Sonos probably wouldn't be very good, considering what Apple and
Right.
Google and Microsoft have been able to do in this long of a time. But who knows? And
Considering how terrible everything is,
Yeah.
honestly, I have no faith in a Sonos Home Assistant. I just don't need a Home Assistant.
no, but you're not
Like,
most
here's the
people,
thing.
though.
All these use cases for smart appliances. Let's talk smart appliances for a minute, okay?
Oh, I'm gonna lose now.
Okay, all these use cases, they're like, yeah, you
IoT
can...
appliances.
What is it? You can...
Your juicer needs to be connected to the internet.
Your
or else it's not gonna work.
Like, I forget who it was. I think it was Samsung showing a smart washer and dryer.
Yeah.
And they're like, so you could like control your washer and dryer from a distance. I'm like, you mean instead of when I actually put the bloody clothes in,
Yeah.
just...
Getting notifications that your load is done could be helpful. though.
We have an LG smart refrigerator. So
Okay, what's it do? Why would I care?
it warns you like when the filters need to be changed, if a door got left open, if it's under temperature.
And a light on the front of the fridge couldn't do that.
Well, if the door got left open and you're upstairs because you're going to bed,
Again,
the light on the front of the fridge wouldn't help you.
8-year-old child.
We have
So-
we have a piece of paper on our fridge at work saying, "Please remember to close the fridge." Because
That works for, like,
people
2
can't seem
days.
to do it. I'm just saying these things aren't completely useless. And I
Okay.
think, considering my comment about normies being more into Google Home and
All right.
all that kind of stuff, the Apple HomePod might do better for them than the Watch did.
So targeting people who can't figure out how to close their fridge.
No, but at the same time, like you say, it's not going to be very helpful for you because you won't be chopping vegetables because you're not the one doing most of the cooking.
Now ours doesn't at least go as far.
Whoa, okay, you go first, Jay, but I have to address the shots fired over there.
Okay. Ours is at least
not as
not
good
one of
as it
those
could.
ones that will like tell you what you're low of in the fridge and automatically link it to your Amazon Fresh cart and whatnot. I mean, we do have the Amazon Fresh like scanner thing. My wife likes to use that, but there's refrigerators out there that can tell when you're low on milk and it will like automatically order it for you. I mean,
Okay,
at least we
okay.
didn't go that far.
I can actually see that being useful. Whereas the more rudimentary stuff, I don't know if I care as much about. Okay, and back to your whole thing. I don't need to convert metric to imperial because I actually already
But
know
what if
these
you
things.
wanna know
Teaspoon,
some random
5
thing?
mils. Tablespoon, 15
What if
mils.
I don't care
One
that you
cup,
know your conversions on basic
250
small
mils.
things?
A liter is approximately a quart.
What
It's
if
a
your
little
kid
more.
asks you
A
a
gallon
question-
is 4 liters approximately. It's about 3.75 liters. Okay? I can convert this crap in my head. I don't need an iPod.
I
everyone
only
can.
speak American, so I need the help, okay?
Not everyone can. And what if your kid asks you a question and it's of something super weird that
Then
you've
I'm
never
going to
bothered
make it
wondering
up
about?
because that's half the fun of being a parent. Daddy, what does a giraffe do all day? Well, son, giraffes actually play a lot of poker. People don't know this because you look at those hoofs and you think, gee, how do they even hold the cards? But giraffes, like, see, it's endless, okay? You know, you make it up. No problem. My dad made things up to me, and I turned out just fine.
I'd say that explains a lot.
Brandon is yelling debatable.
Enough of
from the
your
other
crap, Brandon! All
side.
right.
Probably move on.
Let's talk about the new iMacs because
Yeah.
I think basically this explains how AMD managed to remain so secretive about Vega because AMD leaks everything. But it seems like if you're going to collaborate with Apple and Apple wants to be the one to announce the first desktop, Vega graphics card, then people probably ran around the office going, okay, no, leak, for real this time. For real this time. Don't leak Vega, okay? Don't leak Vega. Apple wants to do it, and if we don't sell them to Apple, we're not going to have a lot of customers. So,
I'm salty about the whole thing.
okay, all right, so hit me. Hit me
Well,
with the salt.
okay. So AMD is kind of rebasing its whole foundation, right, of community-oriented, gamer-oriented, and we've been waiting for Vega for quite a while, right? But I feel a little bit stabbed in the back by AMD that they're launching it in an Apple product first. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with that. So when the news came out, I basically just kind of like face-palmed and then turned it off because at that point I just felt like AMD sold out on that one. Now it's no news that AMD graphics have been in MacBook Pros and Mac for a while, but I just feel like the Vega that everyone's been waiting for, kind of going to
It's
AMD
not,
or
it's
Apple
not
first
great,
was.
and I don't like it either. But I'm willing to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Listening to what you're saying, I hear that, but we all know that they need as much money as possible. If there was some amount of like, they're going to make more from this, if there's some amount of temporary exclusivity deal or something, then
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it to them because
I mean,
Like if
right.
it's only Vega Pro, then I guess that kind of makes sense. But I mean, we're still waiting for more kind of gamer or mainstream Vega, but still.
that's fair.
Right now, to my knowledge, Apple is the only tier 1 computer maker that forget about being exclusive to AMD Radeon. Apple is the only tier 1 PC maker that even emphasizes AMD Radeon. So I do understand why Apple is getting some special treatment here because even so I got a press release today that Acer's doing like a $799 budget gaming desktop. I was actually thinking, yeah, we might actually pull it in for review because it's Ryzen based.
Okay.
Yeah. They still put a 1050 in it.
Wow.
And it's just like, okay, so part of the problem is that supply is really tight on the RX cards because
Yes.
cryptocurrency mining is
Again.
super important again.
Came back around.
But part of it too is that they're competitive, but they're not like a green team crushing solution at any level in the product stack.
The Twitch chat is so salty that you said tier 1.
What? Tier 1 is it's a term you can define.
I know.
It's not an
but
opinion.
they're so upset.
I mean, they're gonna hate who the rest of the tier 1s are. Okay, Dell, HP, Lenovo. What did you think? What did you think I was gonna say? Like Asus, MSI? I'm sorry, those guys. Okay, those guys are tier 1 motherboard manufacturers.
Yeah.
But in the PC system space,
It's all about enterprise.
they are way behind. Okay? I'm sorry, get over it. So let's talk a little bit about the device that Vega graphics are going into. I may do a dedicated video on this, actually, just kind of discussing this. But Jay, hit me with your thoughts on an iMac Pro.
Okay, so
Should I do some approximate specs for the viewers before you kind of launch into it, or?
yeah, because I was kind of
Yeah.
pulling up something.
Sure. Okay, so let's do some context for you guys. So much like the Mac Pro, this is a balls to the wall machine. We're talking up to 18 core Xeon. We're talking up to 128 gigs of ECC RAM. We're talking Radeon Vega graphics, a 5K display, 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports with support for external GPUs. So that Vega GPU, however they're implementing it, whether it's MXM or whether it's baked right into the PCB, is upgradable, in a manner of speaking, up to a 4TB SSD, a 10-bit panel, new black peripherals, because that's important. UHS 2 SDXC
Hey, to
card
people
slot.
that might be into the HomePod,
Enough.
maybe it is.
500 watt power supply, 1080p webcam, starting at $5,000. I mean, this to me looks like a pretty bananas machine, but it's in an all-in-one.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised that they spent so much emphasis on specs, because given kind of where they've been over let's just say the last 8 years, I mean, you can still buy an i7 dual core, right, MacBook Pro. So it just seems kind of surprising to me that they actually are going with the top tier hardware this time around, because Apple's always been about software optimizations, right?
Yes.
So I'm kind of wondering.
The experience. You buy
Right.
a product, not a spec sheet.
Right.
You
I
buy
mean,
an
given
experience.
given the price to specs, I don't think, and the fact that it's Apple, I actually don't think that price is really out of whack. I think it's right in line with where it should be, because you could build a similar Intel-based system with the same specs and spend just as much.
Yeah, and that's true. Depending though on what we are actually getting for $5,000, because
Right.
that might be, maybe that's not Vega, and maybe that's, I mean, it's certainly not an 18 core
Right.
processor.
Because it does say it starts with an 8-core Xeon.
So that would be maybe, is it 8 core? Does it have 8 gigs of RAM?
Right. It's
we don't-
configurable up to 15K.
Yeah, you never know how much Apple's going to kneecap something. Honestly, for me, the thing that I really take exception with, and the thing that, again, I might do some kind of a follow-up video on here, is that they're calling it Pro. That the Pro users got upset when they took away the tower that you can put expansion cards in, and they gave us a cylinder that you can plug expansion devices into, and that now, and they did say earlier this year that they're going to have something to address the Pro user. I guess what I want to know is, was this it? Because to me, professional
that would
means
suck.
modular, upgradable. It means a path to continue using it. And the other thing that really upsets me, and that makes Apple's desktop ecosystem almost impossible to support as a business owner, is the unpredictability of it.
Yeah.
If we go back for the last 10 years, so we just upgraded our editing workstations. It was kind of time. It had been almost 4 years, something like that. And so let's say over a span of 10 years, if our company were to have followed a typical upgrade cycle of 3 to 4 years, we would have had towers, we would have had cylinders, we would have been stuck with old cylinders thinking, holy crap, are we going to have to just go straight to laptops? And then Apple would have dumped an AIO on us with that, hold on a second, I mean, what if we just upgraded our displays?
Apparently, no. The new Pro version is coming probably sometime in 2018.
Okay, which still doesn't address my fundamental problem with Apple not having a clear strategy. In a professional environment, I need to know what my upgrade path is.
Right.
So that if I'm going to invest in a bunch of brand new 8K displays
An
from Dell,
ecosystem.
let's say. Exactly. I need to know that the new machine that I'm going to have available to me is going to make any sense. Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Oh, this one comes with a display already in it. I don't understand Apple's Pro lineup. So that's kind of where I'm going with that.
Is this the first iMac Pro though? I'm not sure.
Yes, it is.
I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're just introducing then the new Pro line of iMacs, but based on the hardware available in the iMac, is the new MacBook Pro the new Mac Pro coming out in 2018 going to be essentially the same hardware in a tower format with AIO water cooling again? I mean, I have to kind of wonder what the next tier of hardware could be.
I kind of wonder too. Like, I would love for Apple to just go straight back to basics. Here's a tower. Here's where the expansion cards go. Here's how you add a freaking hard drive that's connected to a SATA interface instead of connected to a Thunderbolt interface for some reason.
Their desktop side of their enterprise has always been more concerned with the form factor than anything else.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's where I'm at on that. I'm glad that they do have a legitimate, professional, high-end, great option. But I'm frustrated that Pro products are being treated as basically disposable.
Yeah.
Other than being able to upgrade the graphics, which is good, but the fact that we're doing this over Thunderbolt means that there is going to be some kind of bottleneck that exists already and can only get worse. So we did a fairly thorough, I think, investigation where we looked at Alienware's graphics amplifier versus the Razer Core and found that already with a top-tier 1080 Ti, there are performance differences between a straight PCIe interface and Thunderbolt 3 with all the extra overhead. And people criticized us. They said, well, Linus, no one's going to put a 1080 Ti in that thing. And I'm sitting here going, well, that wasn't the point. The point is that 3 years from now, when it is time to upgrade your graphics card, something with the power of a 1080 Ti is going to cost $199.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're going to put in it.
Yeah.
Well, I played around Thunderbolt 3 for the first time earlier this year with, the external graphics card solutions, and I saw the same thing you did. In fact, the performance degradation was so bad over even Thunderbolt 3 that I had to get confirmation that the anywhere between 25 to 35% performance loss was normal. And I was like, oh yeah, that's normal. So, okay, then what's the point of buying top tier graphics like this when it's just going to dumb down to a tier or two lower on the graphics solutions? So like you're saying though, if using an interface like that is the option to stay forward compatible, then you're just cutting yourself off at the knees and the ankles and everything as you go forward.
One note about this new iMac, I don't know what versions. I know there's the Pro, and I believe there's non-Pro new versions.
Yep.
The only thing I've seen is of the non-Pro, but I'm assuming it's the same for both.
Yep.
The CPU and the RAM are both replaceable.
Yep, that was true of previous iMacs.
But not GPU still.
But not
like
GPU
we're
still.
talking about anyways.
Okay, so that's frustrating.
And I kind of doubt people are going to be super hardcore throttled by at least the CPU part of that. You might be able to get away with the classic Mac thing where you buy the one with less RAM and then upgrade the RAM yourself because it's way freaking cheaper, but who knows? I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. I still haven't decided if I'm going to do a piece on it. It kind of depends whether I can sort of come up with a coherent enough argument, but it is something that I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, Apple's sort of schizophrenic approach to professional
Surface
products.
Studio versus Mac Pro.
Oh, Lordy, I don't necessarily... So it's too early in the Surface product lineup. For me to really talk about Microsoft strategy, because right now it's really hard to tell what it is. I can't discuss one member of the family,
whatever that really means.
Yeah, whatever creator means. I mean, this thing spanks the Surface Studio on paper anyway.
Performance-wise, definitely.
Yeah, and upgradability-wise even.
Yeah, Surface Studio is horrible.
Nightmare to get into.
Yeah.
So, should we do the big announcement? The reason that Jay's on the show today?
Oh, yeah.
Should we do that now? Actually, you know what? No, what we're going to do is do it after the ads.
Oh, get on.
So why don't we do our sponsor call-outs first?
Yeah.
Hold on, I just want to do a quick tweet. Do you want to start one of them, and then Jay, we'll just put you away for now.
Okay. I'll duck out of the way.
Okay, cool.
Sure, I'm going to conventionally start with Savage Jerky.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah,
dog.
Right,
can I have some?
Which
is
one
this a
do
new
you want?
box?
This is not a new box.
Are
they still okay?
Oh, yeah, probably.
Jerky.
I mean, how does Jerky go bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Should I take on the Reaper today?
What did you do last time?
I don't remember. I think I did the second hottest
Is that the one that like has more? That's 5 bars. It's only 5 bars.
Yeah, the Reaper's 5 bars.
So Savage Jerky, fairly self-explanatory. It's jerky, or you can get bacon. Actually, this one's
maple
jerky.
bacon. That's mine. You don't get any.
Maple bacon. That
Get
was
wrecked.
his favorite one. Where's my favorite one?
I'm gonna do the. Do we have a Carolina Reaper that's already open?
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, we got an open one. This one's not as popular just to eat for lulz because it.
Yeah.
Oh no, we don't have an open one. I don't think we've done this one since the last spot because if you're into spicy jerky, this is like for you.
Crazy.
I'm not that into spicy jerky.
There we go. Mojo Habanero, that's my favorite one. They all come with generally 4 bars of heat on the front, so it'll tell you how hot it is. Mojo Habanero is a 3. The Reaper is special. It comes with 5 bars, and they're all filled because it is just more hot than freaking anything. Savage Jerky is a sponsor of ours. They use the best ingredients without nitrates or preservatives. Their goal is to create a snack that is full of flavor and spice and won't actually be bad for you. Apparently, their inspiration came from the flavor of garlic, lime, and cilantro.
I believe that you can taste it in almost all of them if you can still if you still have taste buds that work after you're done with
if you
some
go
of them.
for the Reaper, you might want to not taste it for long. You'll taste it for a little bit at the start, and then it goes away.
I don't fear the Reaper or the wind or the rain. We can
Apparently-
be like they are. Come on, baby.
Apparently, outside of this, just the traditional flavors, most people go for sriracha bacon or maple buffalo bacon, which makes sense
So
as to
good.
Linus's preferences. But yeah, they're pretty freaking good. They have a whole bunch of different flavors. They're really into the spicy stuff, hence Savage, if you're into that.
So you can check them out over at savagejerky.com. And once I figure out how to get the package open, because apparently they don't have stupid people-proof packaging.
And I mean, I've opened them all flawlessly, but anyways.
You know what? I've had enough of your crap. What the heck?
If you use offer code LTT,
there we go.
you'll save 10% on your order, which is pretty cool.
Okay, so now I get to do the other 2 ad spots with some pain.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Join Cable Modders group on Facebook and enter for a chance to win.
I took it to LTX.
Oh yeah. Okay, you maybe better do this. Oh boy.
LTX 2017 is coming up. You're gonna be able to meet everyone on the team here, which is pretty cool. And you'll be able to participate in a whole bunch of different like booths and events that we're gonna have going on.
We have locked in the carnival games. So like the run and stretch your thing and it pulls you back.
What all ones are gonna be there?
We're gonna have like 6 different ones.
Do you need something?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. Brandon has Soylent if you want to buy some Soylent off him, and it actually works quite well.
No, I'm fine.
Okay, I'm going to keep going because I think he lost track of his thing. Outside of the carnival games, there's going to be a bunch of other booths. I'm going to be doing a VR booth.
I've got them.
Going to be editing things.
So we're going to have the bungee run. We're going to have the hamster ball race. We're going to have the pedestal joust.
Oh, that's cool.
We're going to have sumo wrestling, motorized World Cup soccer, which is basically Rocket League in real life,
Yeah.
and soft-sided money booth. Oh, we're going to have a money booth. That's pretty cool.
I'm not sure how that works, but sure.
I have no idea how that works.
But yeah, if you check out their site, you can enter to win tickets to that. You'll still have to get there. Oh, wow. No. 2 people who win will get hotel and airfare covered.
Yeah. So
That's
you
pretty
guys
crazy.
are winning hotel airfare and the premium
limo
ticket,
tour.
the limo tour of the office.
Dang.
So Cable Mod is sponsoring the crap out of that. So go join their Cable Modders group over on Facebook for a chance to win.
It's just facebook.com/cable modders, which is pretty straightforward. Giveaway is limited to those in North America only, and the winner will be drawn on June 12th. There will be a link in the video description as well if you're watching this on YouTube.
Here.
But yeah, you guys have seen Cable Mod cables. We've used them in tons of different stuff. I use them in my personal rig. We use them in probably most of our builds.
We use them in most of our builds at this point. Basically, they're awesome. There's no reason not to love those guys.
They look
Thomas
great
is
right
the
out of the
bomb.
box. And they do other stuff now too,
And
like
the other
power
guy who's
cables and
the other guy
Ethernet
whose
cables.
name I always forget. He's the bomb too.
You did a pretty good job with that.
With what?
That jerky. How much did you bite out of it?
Honestly, I only had probably about a piece this big.
Yeah. Eating a whole one of those is like really rough.
You gotta be hardcore. Okay, last sponsor is Freshbooks. Head over to freshbooks.com/when and claim your free trial today. Freshbooks makes it easy to keep track of your hours, your expenses, your invoice, and anything else that you need for your small business. FreshBooks lets you bill on your own terms so you can accept deposits. You can accept payment through the app. You can see when a client has seen your invoice. So if little Sally's mom claims that, oh, she didn't get the invoice for the dance lessons, could you just, do this time and I'll catch you on the next time? You'd be like, no, Sally's mom. You pay me now because I know you saw it. And she can pay through the platform. They've even got their own card reader. Basically, FreshBooks takes the hassle of running your accounting nonsense out of running your own business and makes it all about actually doing the things that help you make money instead of, spending the end of the day going home and slaving over some complicated accounting software. You can just do things with you on the go because all the functionality of the desktop cloud version are in the mobile app, and it's all cloud-based, so it all synchronizes automatically. So head over to freshbooks.com/WAN and claim your free trial today. Also, we love those FreshBooks guys because they sponsored Scrapyard Wars, and we bring Jay back in now. So, Jay, you want to do the honors? What exactly? Why were you in the credits for all the episodes? Did you take away my bacon?
No.
Where did my bacon go?
Never take a man's bacon.
No, that is the buffalo. Okay, I'm not upset anymore. Okay, carry on. Sorry, I was about to get real angry because I thought my bacon jerky was gone. Okay, carry on, Jay.
No, I think it's funny because I think Ed put the credits up right after the first episode. I think the credits were up and showed me there.
Yep.
Right next to Jonathan, who because it said in there, thanks for loaning equipment when we needed it and other stuff, right? And some folks, there's some pretty sharp people out there in the audience, and they were like, oh, I guess we know who the celebrity judge is. And I was like, no, clearly I loaned them equipment. That's why I'm down here. And Ed liked that tweet. He's like, oh yeah, because I was trying to, this is probably the hardest secret I ever kept. We're 3 months? 3 months past this?
It's been
yeah, so I was the guest celebrity judge on the RGB Factor.
Uh-huh. So, Scrapyard Wars episode 4, have you seen it yet?
I have.
You have, okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you got early access to it. So Scrapyard Wars episode 4 is coming this weekend. I think it's going to be on Sunday. And without any spoilers, I think it's fair to say this. Jay is a very impactful member of the cast for the 4th and final episode. He not only, did what he did as our celebrity guest, he also lent us his studio space, which was very generous, and he hung out with us until the wee hours of the morning because how many messages did I send you saying, yeah, hey, we're not coming yet, it's going to be later, hey, actually, it's going to be later.
Hey, can we just stand around for a little while?
I took it as an opportunity to just sit on the couch here and watch some TV and some Netflix, something I never get to do because I cleaned the studio, right? I was like, okay, I want a fresh slate for you guys to be able to set up however you want it to, take reign of the space. And I only moved in 2 weeks prior to that. So it was pretty empty, right? Compared to now, you have to walk sideways to go down the hallway. But no, it was fun because I got to see Scrapyard Wars for the first time, literally from the finale backwards, because it's like, okay, I see how it ends. I know how it ends. But I have no idea how we got here. So it was really weird even for me, because I knew you kept sending these texts like, we're delayed, we're sorry, we're delayed, we're sorry. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on over there? I'm thinking this better make for some good drama. And it didn't disappoint.
So for those of you who want to watch Scrapyard Wars episode 4 early, I'm actually posting a link in the chat. Floatplane Club is our early access platform that we've got over on the Linus Tech Tips forum that we would love to open up to other creators at some point. Sorry.
I think some of those coughs are legitimate because the jerky.
No,
not all of them. But
this is the maple bacon jerky.
Okay.
No, this stuff's fine.
Yeah.
Only the worst of content creators would consider such a platform.
Yeah. Early access. It does nothing but hurt the audience.
Except when they don't notice that it's happening.
Yeah, except when that happens.
Yeah.
Also, it kind of helps the creator. There is the whole adpocalypse thing going on.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know if anybody noticed that.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
doing okay, but that's literally killing something.
Should we get back to maybe about 10 more minutes of news, and then we'll bid adieu to Jay and bring on Nicky V for one final WAN show stream?
Yeah, do it.
Actually, okay, we kind of touched on this, but this is sort of a big deal. AMD's GPU supply exhausted by cryptocurrency. So I'll go ahead and screen share here real quick here. So if you've been running out there trying to buy an RX 470 or 570, sorry,
any of them,
slip,
honestly.
Freudian slip, a 570 or a 580. Yeah, you've probably had a bit of a hard time because people are. Let's see. Let's have a look at what this stuff is. So, what are these coins? I don't even know. Have you been keeping up with this, Jay?
Only a little bit. See, I realized it was starting to pick back up in popularity when it was becoming difficult to source this, because I'm getting to the point where I'm just kind of buying and building the systems on my own, right, and not taking sponsorship on everything. So I went and tried to legitimately buy these for a video, and I'm like, I can't get any RX-based graphics card, 400 or 500 series. And it was just like, what the heck? So I started researching it. And it seems like we've gone full circle, right? Because at the beginning, everyone wanted less power consumption, and they wanted I can't remember what it's actually called when they do the hashing or whatever, right? And they wanted more efficiency on that. So they kind of started coming across with these custom-built computers. I think Jerry did a really good video about the progression of Bitcoin mining. And then I don't understand how we got back to here, though.
Well, it looks like it's Ethereum mining that people are really into right now.
Ethereum, okay.
Yeah, so I actually had someone internally pitching to me that we should do a Bitcoin mining update, and I was like, not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency mining update, and I was like, oh, really, that again? And I didn't really look into it. I really should have, because then we could have been a little bit more topical on it.
It's been pretty huge, yeah.
But there you go,
what's the price
again.
of Bitcoin right now? Because no matter what people are mining, they're all converting it out anyway. So yeah, Bitcoin is equal to 3,794 Canadian dollars.
So there's a big gold rush again, basically.
Yeah, I can try to find US dollars, which is
that's one whole Bitcoin, right? Because I think they also, you get them in bits, right?
Yes, you get partial Bitcoins.
So it's 2,824-ish US dollars per Bitcoin, which is huge. If you can see the graph.
What did you search?
Just 1 BTC to USD.
So I'm going to go ahead and share that with the audience here.
Yeah.
So there you go.
The chart.
You can see the big.
Yeah.
You can see it pop up.
The big gold rush back in 2014, late 2013, early 2014. Oh, sorry, that was mid 2014.
Yeah, that was when it crossed 1,000, and it was news.
Mm-hmm. And then in the last since the end of last year, it's gone from like $500 to over 2,000.
And it's very close to over 3K, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, pretty incredible. So, once again, I've missed out. Once again, I suck at everything, but I'm over it. What else we got here? PCI Express 4.0 specs finalized. The original article is from Tech Report. And also, in other news, PCI Express 5.0 is announced.
Hooray!
So it's going to be 16 gigatransfers per second on tap. So basically, we're doubling it again. So that's really important on the server side of things, less important for consumers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's cool in the sense that, like, consumer platforms that don't have as many PCIe lanes will be able to run. Like, I mean, at this point, you're going to be able to run in what, a 1x slot, or like a 4x slot. What you used to be able to run in a. Hold on a second. So that would be an 8x, a 16. Okay, hold on a second. You're going to be able to run in like a 2x slot, which I believe does exist, but no one implements it, if I recall correctly. What you would have been able to run in a 16x slot back in Gen 1. So that's cool, right?
That's pretty cool.
That's cool. Are we excited?
Throwing stuff into big 16x slot things isn't really going to be a big difference, though.
Yeah. So it still needs to undergo a final review, but scale of 1 to 10, Jay, how excited?
I mean, I don't do, my workflow doesn't really matter that much on PCIe throughput, but is there a timeline on that?
Well, right now it still needs a couple little things. One big question is whether or not AMD and Intel will even bother to implement PCIe Gen 4 on consumer parts.
I think
in which case,
it'll be a while.
Yeah, the timeline could be who knows.
Yeah.
On the server side of things, though, PCIe Gen 5, which will double it again, designed to offer 128 gigabytes per second of total bandwidth, will allow us to have 400 gigabit per second Ethernet solutions.
So,
for servers.
That's super sick. That's cool.
So that's like amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fun. We're already we have no contact at Samsung whatsoever because we suck. But we saw this earlier this morning and we were like, yeah, need to get our hands on some of that. Samsung announced, I think it's a 32 by 9, wide aspect ratio monitor. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, it's like 3 4x3s.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is curved, right? Yeah, it is. Jeez.
Yeah, with FreeSync.
Yeah.
For gamers.
That's pretty wild. 144 hertz, 1 ms response time, HDR10, FreeSync 2.
Quantum dot. All the things.
All the buzzwords.
Samsung's one of those companies where they have world-class display technology and just no idea.
Yeah.
I stopped by their booth, I think it was 2 CESs ago, and they were showing off a FreeSync monitor, and they didn't have the refresh rate. And nobody in the whole booth, I swear, I asked 8 people, including the guy who was in charge of the monitor section, knew the refresh rate. And I'm just that's actually the important spec for a gaming monitor right now.
It's kind of like when I was shopping at Fry's Electronics. I don't know if you guys have those up there, but Fry's is just a big electronics store here in the States. And I was shopping for panels, and I was looking at high refresh rate stuff, and they had them all hooked up to HDMI. So it was not a single panel was actually displaying anything towards what it possibly could. And when I tried to explain to the manager of that section, I was like, you need to put display ports on these. He was like, no, it's HDMI. It's fine. It carries audio too. I'm like, yeah. So I'm basically
not the point, dude.
My wife was with me on that one, and even she knew more, and she doesn't care about any of this stuff. She was like, yeah, I don't think that's supposed to look that way.
Oh, man. Terrible. All right, last one before we bring on Nicky V. Intel Coffee Lake CPUs delayed. So the rumor that Intel is going to be releasing 6 and 4 core Coffee Lake processors on their mainstream platform this year, it seems to have been quashed. It will instead be, apparently, and this is all rumors, sometime in February of 2018. Can you imagine how much of a better position Intel would be in today if they had brought 6-core before AMD launched Ryzen?
Yeah.
If KB Lake was 6-core.
I think they could have, but they got very complacent over the last decade on their own roadmap, and they just kept pushing stuff off.
I think this should begin the Linus and Jay collab angry session.
The anger,
the $2.99 talk.
Oh. I want to say something real quick. I took a lot of flack, just copying Linus because he had a viral video. I said that day in Computex, I looked at Nick and I said, Monday, we're recording this. We're recording my thoughts on this. This is days before you and I ever talked about it, and before your video ever went up. The difference is you took advantage of walking in the rain. You took advantage of walking in the rain. You went for that whole depressing. I'm surprised that whoever edited that video didn't put a gray hue on there too and just make it super depressing. But I saw that video and I was like, you son of a bitch. But no, I had to do it anyway. There's so many things you can talk about, right? I mean, I shot that video 4 times because I kept kind of dumbing it down. I was like, I was rambling so long on that. But there's so many things that are wrong with that, all the way down to a paywall for Raid. I mean, what the hell, man?
I
liked that one.
I don't even know. Because, I'll tell you this. Even on the server side, so I recently rolled out an NVMe storage server. So it's got 48 NVMe bays. And I actually had some issues with Intel's RST Enterprise drivers, where it's limited to a maximum 12 drives. And that was just a tech limitation. That was a driver limitation. It wasn't a paywall thing. They weren't asking for anything. It just straight up had no way to do that. And I actually wanted to run cheapo RSTE RAID 5 on that high-speed NAS. And the reason for that is that I'm doing real-time replication of that NAS to a separate box. So ultimately, if I only have 1 drive of redundancy or it just kind of craps the bed, I'm going to switch everybody over. We're going to be editing off the other box while I rebuild it and get everything. I mean, it'll be inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do that because of a driver limitation. Well, now I'm wondering if I'm not going to be able to do that unless I buy an expensive dongle.
Yeah.
Because if they're doing it on X299, get like 2 more minutes. If they're doing it on X299, then they're probably going to do it on the server side too, right?
I guess they could probably go both ways, right? If you're already paying the enterprise solutions on the server side of things, maybe it would be implemented. But then again, that kind of sucks too. I mean, because then you're talking about double standards in terms of their just their mentality regarding how they want to implement and roll out this stuff. To me, this honestly feels like they just were caught off guard by a lot of things happening in the industry right now. And I feel like what has kind of flipped on them a little bit is their official response regarding Ryzen was they felt like the consumers are going to take a wait and see mentality regarding how well they want to adopt Ryzen. I feel like everyone jumped on Ryzen and now everyone wants to wait and see with Intel.
Yep. Because and that is such an ignorant, like, why would people wait and see? Wait and see what? You're either building a computer or you're not.
Yeah, and of course Ryzen, like every other new launch, had some growing pains in the start, but so did X99. And so I mean, it's one of those things where like today, and that was a big thing I asked a lot of the motherboard manufacturers and ODMs out there at Computex was, are things better on Ryzen now? And they all really assured me, like, yeah, things have matured, the drivers are good, the memory stability and support is there, compatibility is good, and they basically were telling me like, hey, you should maybe try out Ryzen a bit again, because I did it for the first 30 days it launched. Had a couple of weird idiosyncrasies there, but then I just kind of moved on to my Intel system, which is already together, and I use it for work. But I find myself now like, okay, I should probably take another crack at it. But I would love to see the Threadripper stuff, only because just like your workflow, it's like I could take advantage of all of those cores. But even the 1800X is a good place to look at for cheap enterprise solution.
I wouldn't convert all of our editing machines over anytime soon, just because, like, I mean, you know what? We're going to have a video coming out where we roll all of our editing machines up to 10-core 6950Xs. And already on our early access, people are like, yo, what the heck? Intel has new stuff. What about Threadripper? What about this? What about that?
Stability is important.
And I've responded there, and I'll respond proactively now to everybody else. It is no coincidence that about 6 months or 4 months before X99 launched, all our editing machines moved to 4960Xs on X79. There is something to be said for something that is powerful enough and has had 3 years to work out all the potential issues when you're talking about a workstation.
For what we do, maturity is way better for us than just raw power and cutting edge, bleeding edge technology. They call it bleeding edge for a reason.
Yeah, and if it was for myself, no problem. I'll run whatever random crap, beta drivers, whatever. But if I have a room of not necessarily techie people that are going to come to me every time there's an issue with it, no, man.
And like the 6950X isn't new either.
No, it's not.
And we
That's
didn't
exactly
upgrade
it.
Immediately when it launched.
I'm doing exactly the same thing. I'm going at the end of the platform cycle. And I have no problem with that.
Out of curiosity, what's your take on 6950X versus 7900K then? Or excuse me, 6900K. So, any particular reason the X SKU?
Because the whole upgrade was sponsored by Intel, and if I can ask for anything I want, I might as well take the 6950X. It does perform, in my benchmarking, I did a whole video on this a while back, marginally better.
Got it.
Marginally.
Plus X just sounds cooler.
Yeah, it's got X in it. That's why they have X on all the new ones. Anyway, thanks, Jay. I have to give the people what they want. Guys, if you love Jay, then you can check him out over at youtube.com/JayzTwoCents. That's Jay with a Z, not to be confused with Jay-Z. That guy has a dash. Jay's does not. Also over on Twitter at Angry Tech Man, who's salty about stuff. No, wait. What is your Twitter handle again? It's at JayzTwoCents, right?
Yeah, I'm cross-branded properly.
Hey, I've had enough of your crap, man. All right. Anyway, so guys, go check out Jay over there. Thanks, Jay, for coming on the show, and I'm sorry I have to kind of kick you off now.
Everyone watch episode 4. Go.
Yes, do that.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, thanks, man. I'm just going to hang up.
No problem.
Boop. All right, so this is it, my friends. This is your last chance for Q&A with the one, the only, Nicky V, who has some of his Civic cake with him. So
you
this
see
was
that there?
a parting gift for the one and only Nicky V. It's his last day today. It's a cake in the shape of the Civic.
It looks pretty good. It's a very good recreation.
Homemade.
By Yvonne.
Homemade.
Yeah, and it's good cake too. Except one minor detail that I can't leave out.
Yes.
These tires, these are brown, and you know that the rims on that thing are orange. But I noticed, I saw in a recent picture that your Civic rims are looking a little faded these days. I don't think we did enough coats.
The rims are a little faded. You know, want to know something funny about the Civic?
What?
How long do you think it's been since we painted it?
It was in the spring, I think. No, I don't know, maybe a year and a half? Year?
Okay, so we moved in here, I think, 2 years ago. So it's been almost 2 years.
That's a long time.
That car has not been washed,
Yeah.
inside or out,
Oh, I know inside.
in that time. So if the paint were to be damaged or faded,
Wow, it makes sense.
then
But you know what? I think maybe the rims aren't fading though. Maybe they're just covered in dirt. But how are those windshield wipers holding up?
they are most excellent. They're most excellent.
Well, there you go.
Okay, we got the questions rolling in. Who is
Holy
going
crap.
to prank Dennis now? Who are you handing the mantle over to?
I would say, who's got the capability? I think you have the pranking capability, but you don't have the time. I think Colton has the time, but doesn't have the ability. Maybe Colton. Maybe he's the next prankster. But I don't know. I think there's some people who could set up a pretty good prank.
All right. And of course, the number one question. We'll get this out of the way so people ask other questions. Where are you going?
I am going to the Linus Tech Tips of biking called pinkbike.com. It's like, if you didn't know what bike, like if you weren't really a mountain biker or anything, you probably wouldn't know about it. But if you had stepped foot on a mountain bike, or if you've ever bought one or anything like that, it is like the hub. It's like the only source. There's other websites, but this is sort of the OG gangster ass website that started in Calgary and then kind of like grew as the sport became a sport from nothing. So pretty awesome.
So this is as much a question from me as anyone else. What exactly will you be doing there?
I'll be making videos. I'll be running around with a guy named Brett Tippy. He's like, I would say, the only person I know that is comparable in energy level to you. I would run a poll.
Thanks.
Like if people who knew both people. I don't know who has more energy, you or him. So it would be a pretty good battle. But I'll be making videos and doing some web content and stuff for them, and you know, all things biking. Just trying to share my love of biking with the world, you know. So I'm pretty excited.
We've got someone asking, will you collab?
Will I collab?
There's not a lot of overlap, but I don't think it's impossible.
I saw the overlap, and I've seen it with my very own eyes.
Really?
It would be a Terran e-bike thing, of course.
Oh, lordy.
But e-bikes are now like, e-bikes have always just been like kind of a laughing joke of mountain biking. Like, no, who wants to ride an e-bike?
But they're
It's
getting
stupid.
lighter.
Yeah, they're getting lighter, and they're
Yep.
making them more like off-road capable. And now there's some e-bikes that are like, somebody was explaining it, like the whole stigma around them is that they're stupid, they're unnecessary. It's just the bike industry like innovating to make people spend more money on shit that they don't need. Sorry, I swore on here. But the
What am I going to do? Fire you?
yeah, I guess so. You could today. Hey, you could pull the Luke on me today.
The one time I actually fire someone and it actually means anything.
But they're getting better in like the regard that somebody explained it to me really well, and they're like, well, you know how downhill racing, oh, I'm falling away. Downhill racing and stuff is always like really intense and whatever, but now you could have it where, you know, you're riding downhill and that's all scary and stuff, but then you're also like really accelerating uphill, which is kind of awesome too.
Okay, so what's going to happen to the Nicky V character? We've got people asking about that.
I don't know.
Do we spoil it?
I don't know what happens. I actually don't know.
Well, we do know what happens.
I know. Things aren't looking good for him, you know? He's been, if he doesn't die from, you know, health issues from all that pain inhalation and, you know, drinking sauce and all these sorts of things that are just really not, you know, going to make you into a healthy person, I think he's going to suffer some serious health complications in the future. But, you know, that's just from me. I don't know. He probably has another opinion on that.
Let's see what else we got coming in here. is there a YouTube channel that Nicky V will be on? And I think they mean Nick Van Berkel, of course.
If you mean me, I'm not going to try and beat that character to death. I've tried to keep it as minimal as, like, I know there's lots of it, but it's something that can very easily be overdone. I'll just try to do it once in a while. I probably won't be doing that on my channel. But if you want to see my personal YouTube channel that has always existed, yeah, you should have known about if you wanted to see it. It's just called Berkel. And I post a video there like probably 2 times a year, if that. Maybe once a year. Maybe I'll put some more up, I don't know. But like, when you do videos full time for a YouTube channel, sometimes you like don't really have time or energy to work on your own channel. So it kind of gets neglected.
Okay, I've got a tough one. I'm going to put you on the spot. Shulgin's
crap.
Potion asks, what is your favorite memory at LMG?
Favorite memory, probably most intense memory was that prank where you robbed the house, and because that was like 5 things at once. We had a good day, like actually painting the car. This is all in the same day. We went to Linus's house at like 9 a.m. or something, started painting the car. Then we did something else. We played badminton or something. We ate pizza. It was like a great summer day. We come back and then all of this crap goes down with the robbery, and like I've never been so fooled and so pranked in my life that I was like,
I don't think
somebody
anyone
stole
ever got
our-
you again.
no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Dennis tried to get me with that Tinder prank, and he almost did. Like the one where it was like somebody messaging me about like hey, it's blah 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 from Tinder, and then I was like, wait, I have a Tinder, but I'm very like uninvolved in the actual conversation part. I just literally have it. It's almost like a game. I don't use it, or like I use it, but I don't like follow up. But then I was like, what the hell? And then immediately after I'm like closing my phone, that's when Dennis comes by with the camera, like, got you. I was like, no, you didn't. I knew this all along.
So we've got a lot of people asking about LTX and occasional guest spots, and I'll kind of jump in. These are 2 things, or at least one of them, that we've discussed. And I think it's kind of like, this is an amicable breakup, but it's still a breakup. So I don't think either side is really talking about like, you know, here, what are all the things that we're going to do together in the future? The door's not being closed.
No.
And I don't think anyone's saying that they would refuse to walk through a door that was open. We're kind of going, okay, we're going our separate ways, and everything's good. There's cake. It's been a hell of a ride.
Yeah. It's actually crazy looking back at it, because now it seems like not a long time. But then when you think of all the things that we've done in the meantime, it's been crazy. There's been like years worth of the pace that we go at here. I think is like maybe some other places like 5-10 years of work. That's the amount of memories.
Are you expecting a slower pace? Because like I was, you know,
I don't know.
I've done a lot of reflecting. Like I'm thinking
I don't
about
know at all.
like Germany, like the Mexico trip, which was like hectic. It felt like we were down there for months. But like looking back at it, there was actually a lot of like crazy kind of fun stuff, and like
I do think some of the stuff is the same pace. Like I've worked with these guys once before in California, and it was really high paced. But the one funny thing was like, because I'm so used to like a crazy turnaround that we've had here for the last, I don't know, 3 years, going to do something where it's like, okay, this is gonna be a stressful event. You got to get like 2 videos done today. I was like, oh, no problem. I've been doing this every day for like the last 3 years. It feels like this should be a breeze. But I don't know. Everything's a new challenge, so. I don't know. Pace will probably be pretty high. Whatever you do, you set the pace, right? So maybe I'll burn myself out of that.
Oh, sorry. Will there be a replacement editor? Actually, I mean, this is something that comes down to sort of responsible business management. You know, Nick had cut back to 60% earlier this year, so we had already proactively hired an additional editor just in case. Because, I mean, it's not been a secret ever that your passion is biking and snowboarding. Like I remember someone, I'm not going to name any names, but someone before we hired you said, I'm not sure how long he'll last. His real passion is biking and snowboarding videos.
That's funny.
I mean, you came into a group where you already knew a lot of the people, and they obviously knew you fairly well.
I remember even when the job was offered, I turned it down and then said, I'm not going to take this job. And then you're like, you know what? Come down. And then I was convinced. He's like, That's it? A high five?
Yeah.
Never giving me a hug?
Nope. What are we supposed to hug on WAN show, dude?
Here. Yep.
You can hug on WAN. You can do anything you want on WAN show as long as there's no
Twitch,
nipple showing.
Yeah. Or if we. Oh, all right, bud. All right, dude.
Get out of here, Colton.
Dude, what
You're crossing the line.
People are asking what's going to happen to Channel Super Fun. We don't know, actually. Channel Super Fun, Nick or not Nick, has had some challenges over the last couple of years. We don't know if it makes any sense. The entire Twitch chat is cringing so hard, Colton, so thank you for that. That was the most awkward hug since, like, my weird uncle. And
Have you ever seen... What's that?
see me hug my wife?
I don't know.
And have a great weekend.
See you later, Colton.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Well, because Channel Super Fun's changed so much because it started out as just a side thing for fun when there was downtime, or like a side thing to try something out that didn't fit on the other channels. Then it kind of turned into like, oh crap, these numbers are actually getting pretty good. This might be a legitimate channel. And then like taking a different, sure, I don't know what these are.
They're good.
Oh, a piece
maple
of
buffalo
just
bacon.
a literal piece of bacon. Right on. Yeah, it changed so much that, you know, you don't want to keep beating something to death if it isn't like organically growing. So I think just maybe a different approach or whatever. Like we've noticed that over the past little bit. But there's some good golden era Channel Super Fun episodes that I still love so much. Carolina Reaper jerky. I've eaten all of that jerky. I'll tell you one thing, it is delicious. There's one of them though that like just killed the insides of me. It's too hot. Like you feel it like everywhere. It just destroys your entire insides. So watch out for that one.
All right. I don't actually see much else here.
They want you to bring Linus cat tips back.
Yeah, I don't see.
How often
I don't
do
see
you
that.
sprinkle water on that growing flower?
I don't remember the last time I uploaded something there, to be honest. It's just like so it comes down to when you're busy making videos for like a real channel. Because the idea behind Linus Cat Tips was it would just be me like tooling around at home, like playing with my cats or whatever. And like the last thing I want to do when I have a minute to like sit down and like cuddle with my cat is like get a camera. Like I don't even want to look at a camera.
Well, that's been the same thing with like my channel. I've always just put random whatever project I had been working on that I needed to put somewhere on that YouTube channel of mine. But yeah, like if your week consists of like shooting and editing, when you get off work and you're like, oh, okay, I need to go do something outside or something, like anything not related to what I've just been sitting and doing for the last 8, 9 whatever hours. Yeah, it's kind of hard to like make a video at that point, but sometimes you can.
We got people asking if you're going to make a goodbye video, if you're going to do final touch-ups on the Lamborghini, and to that I will say we have something special in mind as a final video. So stay tuned. This won't be the last time you see him, but this is the last time he'll physically be in the building.
This is the last time I'll be live.
That's right.
I'm live.
Are you going to become a daily vlogger?
No. I so hope that nobody thinks that's what that to me, like, I'm like, I hope nobody thinks I'm gonna like go and try and be all right, now my main focus is my YouTube channel where I'm gonna daily vlog my, like, no, that's such a sad like spin-off thing. I see so many people do that. Like, I don't know, I don't know anyone's name in particular, but it's like, and then they make the first video is like why I left BuzzFeed or whatever, and it's like that video will probably do well because people will be like, oh, why did this dude leave whatever, and then they watch it, and then it's like, then you can't follow that up with like, oh, this is what I ate this morning, and
Nick Van Berkel.
Yeah, oh, just no. That's never been my style. Come on, you guys.
Why I left BuzzFeed /SourceFed. Are we going to see that video? Why I left Linus Tech Tips, all caps.
And then the thumbnail's going to be like me like this, like, no, come on. Who wants to watch that?
People want a spoof of that.
Yeah, you know what?
That's not a terrible idea.
Somebody else can make that video. But no.
All right, so it's after 6, and the last thing I can do for people who are officially not on the clock anymore is keep them here after work hours. So the last thing I have for you is a final parting gift.
A card?
Well, you might not want to read it now. It is actually a reference letter.
Oh, wow.
You already have a job,
Wow, thank you very much.
but I figure you might not last long at it.
Well, thank
So
you. I
I'm-
very much appreciate
So
that.
I proactively wrote that up for you.
Thank you very much. I think it calls for an on-camera hug, Linus.
All right.
Come on, get in here.
All right. All right. And that's getting awkward.
I wanted to keep it for just too long.
It's been a hell of a 3
Well,
years.
thank you.
And,
I appreciate that very
all right.
much.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Thanks to you for being here. And we will see you guys again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thank you all.